In today's video, we are going to be talking about Necrons and what the cheapest way is to get into them, be it for Kill Team, Warhammer 40K, Combat Patrol, all that good stuff. If you're interested in starting Necrons, this is the right video. If you enjoy the content, consider leaving a thumbs up and subscribing, as well as checking the links down in the description below if you want to support what I do. Join us over on Discord, follow me over on social media, and so on. My name is Eplash, and this is Senpai of Wargames. Senpai of Wargames was created because I wanted to get more people into the hobby of Warhammer 40K or Age of Sigmar or whatever else miniatures. And the best way to get new people into the hobby, especially if it's an expensive one, is to show them the best value they have. But one thing that a lot of people always forget when it comes to value and savings and big boxes like battle forces or starter sets is that, yeah, you're saving money, but it doesn't help anything if you don't like the models inside. So a lot of people just buy an army because it's cheap, usually Space Marines or for Age of Sigmar, Stormcast Eternals, and then they are going to sell them a year later because they consider, hey, I want to play Blades of Khorne or I want to play Tyranids or Necrons, and then they're going to sell them off. So the most important thing is you like the models, or the faction at least. So we are going to start with Kill Team. We are then going to talk a little bit about full 40k, Combat Patrol, maybe a full 1000 points list that is relatively cheap, and we are not going to pay any attention to competitiveness or anything. The only requirement for my lists and recommendations is they make sense for a match play list, and that's basically that. So starting with Kill Team, I'm going to start with an anecdote, which is basically me going to a GW store and, having someone being excited. They assembled their first box of Necron Warriors, 10 of them, and they walk over and want to play Kill Team, and suddenly someone tells them that, you just cannot run 10 Necron Warriors in a single Kill Team. Then they refer to the rules and it says, hey, I can run 2 5-man Necron Kill Team squads. That doesn't work. So as you can see here, it says Necron Warrior, one maximum of 1 per Kill Team, and the reason is very, very simple. There is a leader choice for Immortals, Flayed Ones, and Death Marks, but there is no leader choice for Necron Warriors, and that is why you cannot run 2 of them. It forces you to basically run Necron Warriors in another squad that offers a leader choice. Why did GW not just give the Necron Warrior a basic leader? Completely arbitrary. They want you to buy multiple boxes. That's literally it. Would a 10-man squad Necron Warrior Kill Team be fun? Probably not, but it would be very cheap for 30 pounds or something. And not having that option kind of sucks. It would be cool if they just gave the Necron Warriors a leader choice with 1 wound additionally, called it a day, but that doesn't work. So now that we know that, what are your options? So when it comes to a compendium Kill Team, so not a bespoke one that was specifically designed for Kill Team, but rather just what you can see right now with Necron Warriors, Immortals, Flayed Ones, and Death Marks. You could obviously go to GW and pay full price, and it would be expensive because you need a box of, for example, Necron Warriors and 1 box of Immortals. You could go to a third-party retailer, at which point you would probably save 20-ish%, which wouldn't be terrible, but also not that great because you would have 5 extra Necron Warriors you couldn't do anything with, and so on, unless you later on upgrade to full 40k. And then your options are to buy a Heroic Circle box. The Heroic Circle box was specifically designed and created for Kill Team. The packaging is not very subtle. It literally says Kill Team. And what is kind of important about this Kill Team is that you're buying an entire Kill Team in a box, for one. And secondly, they have specific rules written for them. Bespoke Kill Teams have way better rules than compendium Kill Teams. So if you want to run a slightly more competitive list, or if you just want to have a Kill Team in a box and not think too hard about it, the Heroic box is just way better than buying 2 separate boxes for just the regular Tomb World Kill Team. Now, one thing that is important to consider is that there is a magazine out there called Warhammer Imperium, in which you can get Immortals and Necron Warriors and Flayed Ones, if you have it still available, for relatively cheap, namely £9, 10 euros, or $12 or $13. And that's that. If you can find those, you can start Kill Team for as little as £18 or $25 or something. It's crazy. So if you have Warhammer Imperium available, check it out and pay close attention to that, because they are restocking magazines at some points. And yeah, you may be lucky. Your second best option is to check out eBay. Necrons are widely available on eBay simply because they were a starter faction for 9th edition. That means a lot of people bought those starter boxes because of the Space Marines and are now trying to get rid of the Necrons. You're going to find Necro Warriors for very, very cheap on there. Maybe some Immortals, maybe some Flayed ones, maybe some Death Marks if you're lucky as well. But if you don't want to run the Heroic Circle because you maybe don't like the models and you want to run Necro Warriors and Flayed ones, for example, you could get a kill team for relatively cheap. You buy your Necro Warriors off of eBay and you get your Flayed ones separately at a third-party retailer, and at that point you can run your list the way you want it to for relatively cheap. So always pay attention to your options and get in there for as cheap as possible, but the cheapest way, just without thinking too hard about it, is the Erotic Circle bought at a third-party retailer for 10 to 20% off. That is going to give you an entire box, a box with great rules, and it is going to get supported by GW moving forward as well. So yeah, that's it for Kill Team. Now when it comes to Warhammer 40k or quote-unquote full 40k, it is really difficult to recommend anything else than a Combat Patrol box, because the Combat Patrol box is again a one-stop shop for just a single box. You buy it, you assemble it, and you can play it out of the box in a format called Combat Patrol, which is just pitting said Combat Patrols against each other, and it is somewhat balanced. That's it. It's that easy. No other format ever offered that for GW, and it is the easiest way and the cheapest way to get into Warhammer 40k. That's basically that. Now when it comes to Necrons though, there are a couple of things to keep in mind. There is an old and a new Combat Patrol box. The old Combat Patrol box, you can see right now, does not have rules for Combat Patrol. It is weird, but GW never has written rules for that specific Combat Patrol. So if you buy it, you are not getting any rules. Thankfully, if you want to still run it because you bought it accidentally, or if you like the models, I've written rules for it myself. I've tested it, verified it, and a lot of people gave me feedback on them, and I think they're a lot of fun to use. You can find them in the pinned comment, and there's going to be a video for them and a link and everything, so you can find the rules if you want to run that. But if you want official rules, you need to buy the new Combat Patrol you can see here, and that is your only option for Necrons. And it is, yeah, by far the cheapest way to get into Warhammer 40k and into Combat Patrol. Now, before I recommend a couple of 1000 points lists, which is the smallest game size that you have available for quote-unquote full Warhammer 40k and on Combat Patrol, I wanted to talk a little bit about other boxes. So if you can find Battle Forces or an Old Start Collecting or any of these boxes for their MSRP or ideally below, it's just very, very difficult admittedly, but if you find them for their MSRP or below, they are definitely worth it. They are not all equal. So as you can see on the left-hand side, you see the 2020 Necron Battle Force, and on the right-hand side, you see the 2021 Necron Battle Force. And overwhelmingly, the left one is way better than the right one. But if you can find the right one at MSRP, definitely not a bad box at all. You're getting a couple of Flayed ones in there, Necron Warriors. You can use it for regular 40k, you can use it for Kill Team at that point, and it's still a great Battle Force. Just don't pay too much for it, because these boxes, Battle Forces, have nothing that is limited to them. They are not special edition boxes or anything. They are limited print runs, but there's nothing in these boxes you cannot buy separately. And thus paying more for these boxes than you would just buy them separately doesn't make any sense at all. So pay close attention to that. Check out what the MSRP of these boxes were, and from there on go and consider if you want to buy them or not, if you can find them somewhere. Now, when it comes to a 1000 points list, there are not a lot of options you can go with when it comes to the quote-unquote cheapest options you go with. What you're closely paying attention to, in my case, is you calculate kind of points per dollar, if that makes sense. So you get the most bang for your buck, but that obviously is not going to give you any fun lists or anything. But when it comes to the cheapest options you have available, just buying the Combat Patrol twice, because it is the cheapest way, outside of Warhammer Imperium and eBay, is going to net you a lot of points for your money. And then you're just going to throw in a Catacomb Command Badge in there, because it's 150 points for, not that much money. And at that point, you're going to be at 990 points. You can throw in an enhancement in there and you have a fully functioning list. It is not competitive by any means. It is not the strongest list. Necron Warriors currently, at the time of recording, are suffering a little bit, but I'm fairly certain GW is going to fix it in a couple of weeks. So this would be the cheapest way to go about it. When it comes to the pricing of this particular list, it is going to set you back £225 if you buy directly from GW, or £180 if you buy from a third-party retailer. This is a 20% discount applied for all of these prices. For Europe, it is going to cost you €295 or €236 if you apply the third-party retailer discount. And for the US, you will be paying $380 or $304 with a third-party retailer discount applied. If you have Warhammer Imperium available to you, or if you have a relatively decent choice when it comes to eBay picks, you can get this for even cheaper. But, you know, starting with full Warhammer 40K for approximately £180 is not that bad. It is still quite expensive, but considering how expensive the hobby is in general, it is not as bad as it was for, let's say, 7th edition or 8th edition before we got combat patrols, because while side collectings were great, they weren't particularly cheap either, and the points they offered were significantly less. So yeah, there's that to consider. When it comes to a couple of boxes, I would definitely kind of not consider buying because of pricing reasons. There are two of them. One is flayed ones. Flayed ones are so disgustingly expensive, and the points per dollar are so bad, it literally hurts. I have no idea what GW did there, but flayed ones are way too overpriced. And the points per dollar ratio, pound ratio, is not worth it. And the same applies to anything and everything resin. If you're new to the hobby, I wouldn't recommend buying resin or Forge World or Finecast anyway, but it is still worth it to recommend it, especially for newcomers. If it says kind of professional kit or something on the GW website, or it says 15 plus when it comes to the age, do not buy that stuff. It is not fun to work with. It is resin. You need super glue for all of that. You need to be sanding and filling gaps, and those models are very expensive for the points and for the size. So those are the two things I would strongly recommend against buying, especially as a newcomer. Later on, if you have a lot of the models and if you want flayed ones, if you want resin stuff, go for it, but not as a beginner. So yeah, I hope this gives you a good idea on what to buy when it comes to Necrons if you are money conscious and if you want to play the game for as little money as possible while still having a fun list. The 1000 point list I recommended is still fun. The Heroic Circle for Kill Team is still definitely a fine list and it's fun to run. And none of these lists I recommended are just stupid, because it wouldn't make any sense to save money on that kind of stuff. Admittedly, 2 combat patrols are not the ideal setup for a list. You know, running 2 overlords and 1000 points is maybe not the best thing. Necron warriors currently are not the best unit, but as I said, rules are always changing. Every 3 months, GW is releasing a smaller update, and every 6 months we are getting a big update. So you can expect Necron warriors and so on to get better as time moves on, or get a little bit weaker if they overtune them again. So yeah, if you have any specific questions for units, lists, or anything Necrons or starting Warhammer 40K or Age of Sigmar, feel free to drop your comments down below, and I'm going to try my best to help you out with your specific questions. Other than that, I hope this was insightful. Feel free to share the video with someone who's interested in playing Necrons, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.